Samantha Azir here. Recently I went game hunting and I decided to take you guys along for the ride. This is not my typical day. I typically don't hit this many places at once and I don't normally go out to eat this many times, but I thought it would be fun. And did I spend a lot of money?
Yep.
Oh god, I spent so much money, my stomach hurts. So the first stop was St. Vincent de Paul. I come here a lot. Today, it wasn't as successful as previous trips. The CRT TV was kind of interesting, and if I wasn't moving, I would consider buying it. There were some toys available. A couple of the packs actually had some Pokemon figures in them, but I'm not really into the newer stuff, so I ended up not picking them up. I hate how they always put like one good toy in the bundle of like crap toys. It almost looked like there was a Five Nights at Freddy's figure in there, but I don't really know enough about that game to say for sure. I have no idea who this is. And then we got a Sylvester toy in here. I'm not a big collector of Looney Tunes, so that kind of wasn't of any interest. And then of course it's always interesting finding like boxed Xbox 360 stuff. I thought that twin speaker was really cute. And then, of course, a camera for the Xbox 360, which I already have one. Mine's a white one, and I never use it. This is a big place for me to go for VHS tapes. I kind of collect VHS. I really only look for the movies I'm interested in watching. But they have a really big selection of DVDs as well. And a lot of books, too. Their game case actually had a Zelda game in it, which was really surprising. They had some empty cases they were selling as well. I really haven't found any good finds here in a long time. They put some of their better VHS tapes in here with like some comic books. And then the kind of like cheaper games are in the back. They always seem to have Xbox 360 and PS2 titles. And some Wii stuff, but none of it's ever really like great stuff. Been hearing a lot about MLB The Show from Gaming Off the Grid, so I was interested, and they also talk about how they love tennis games, but they don't like tennis. So the second stop was Goodwill. They haven't had games out in what feels like months. I don't know why I keep coming back. I've been finding some plushies here and there, but really, I haven't seen a single game, not even like a single copy of like Wii Fit or anything. I even asked them to see if they had moved them into a different part of the store, and they said no, if we had them, they'd be here. So Goodwill's been pretty much a bust every time. Teen Challenge is not somewhere I go a lot. I've had some good scores here, but I was excited to see they actually had some video games. So excited, in fact, I couldn't even hold my camera correctly. I saw this Ed, Edd and Eddy game, which was really exciting. I used to watch that cartoon all the time. The funny thing is the day before this trip, a friend and I were talking about all the old Cartoon Network shows and how inappropriate they were for our age. But they had a decent selection of games. I mean, none of them were heavy hitters, but I ended up picking up a few titles. The store was really full. Like I've come here off and on, and it was a lot more full than I'm used to. I saw this like 6 skateboarder painting that was kind of cool. But yeah, they were packed full. Unfortunately, their electronics department didn't really have a lot there. It looks like they had a lot of like kind of DVD players. I don't really buy DVD players. I've got a decent VHS player, so I'm not usually looking for those. I've heard you can make quite a bit of money off of them, though. I think Gaming Off the Grid does it a lot, too. Wii Fit boards, you can pretty much find those anywhere in my area. I don't know how common it is for you guys, but I literally see them everywhere. I always like to check the toy department, just because at this particular location, I've actually found a couple of Pikachu plushes and Kirby toys. It doesn't happen very often, but I always like to give it a look since I'm already here. Which, of course, this time all they had was this creepy, like, Slender Man looking doll. They also have a very decent selection of VHS tapes. It's actually cheaper here than anywhere else in town, I believe. They're only like 49 cents. I ended up finding this like really 90s looking bloopers VHS tape. It was blank, so I wasn't sure if it worked. And it does. I mean, just listen to this music. So I ended up getting all these games for $14.42. Price charting has it at a total value of $56.66. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. I ended up going to this pawn shop. I didn't find anything that I wanted to buy, but I thought their prices were semi-decent. This actually used to be a pawn shop that was in a house across town that had a lot better deals, and I felt like they were a lot easier to work with in terms of trying to bulk buy from. Some of their deals were okay. They had Wii Sports for $10, which, I mean, you could trade that in to GameStop for I think about $13 if you were patient enough. I ended up going to Fred Meyer to buy some paper towels, and I got distracted by the Squirtle and Bulbasaur. I feel like I never see them out in public, so I had to go get those as well. And then, of course, it was lunchtime. Got some awesome Thai beer, which I can't even pronounce that, and some awesome salad. I ended up going to this place called Bricks and Joysticks, which I had never been to before, and I'm really surprised because it's a local game shop in town. They had a very wide selection of games, but a lot of it wasn't priced terribly. I didn't end up buying a terrible amount from here, but it was really fun just walking around the store and seeing everything that they had available. I mean, toys, knickknacks, plushes, a very big variety of games. I haven't seen this many cartridge games in one spot in a very long time. I ended up buying a Dreamcast from the guy. I only needed a working Dreamcast model. Mine is in a little bit better shape, however the laser doesn't work. Then it was an unexpected trip to Salem. We needed to take a trip over, so we stopped at Game Crazy, one of my favorite stores to stop by. I've known this owner for quite a long time, and he's always been really nice to me, giving me good deals. They always have a great selection, and I feel like their prices are not terrible. But just looking around the store just always makes me so happy because it's just so much all at once. And the guy is kind of a collector. He has a lot of stuff on the walls that is not for sale. That Pikachu suit is actually something I traded in for game store credit. And so every time I come in, that's always cool to see. His selection this time around, he had some pretty decent trade-ins. He has some GameCube games. It's been kind of sparse over the last couple of years for probably obvious reasons. But, I mean, just the collection alone, I mean, that Pikachu, I always see it every year, and it's just so funny. It's always really cool to see expensive games like this just sitting on the shelf ready to buy. He actually ended up pulling out some really rare stuff from the back of the store and showing me some of the special editions that he had. Obviously, I cannot afford any of this, but it was still really cool to see. He ended up showing me a Chrono Trigger, a sealed copy of Pokemon Gold version. But I did end up buying Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2. I cannot believe I pulled the trigger on this. It ended up costing me a total of $170. He did give me a little bit of a discount. But if it wasn't for Retro Rivals, I don't think I ever would have bothered to buy this. But it just seemed like something that I would regret in the future not buying. So then we ended up going to dinner after Game Crazy and enjoyed some of that Red Lobster. So that was my first pickups video. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what you guys have been finding recently, and let me know what out of what I got, what your favorite was. I normally don't spend that much money or time hunting for video games. My normal day is typically hitting up like the Goodwill, the Vinnie's, and on a day where I'm feeling like I want to go across town, I'll go to that teen challenge. I normally don't get that many games in one sitting. I got lucky today. I normally don't spend that much money either. I just had the bug, I guess, yesterday, and so I ended up buying a bunch of stuff that I probably didn't need, and this is the first time my husband's finding out I bought those plushies. I already have too many. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching.